is Godfrey. I'm a technical learning manager at the Learning and Development Business Unit of the Auditor General. I am 26 and I'm a qualified chartered accountant. And we're doing this video just to share some of the stories and what's actually in it for you in this journey of becoming a chartered accountant.
Actually, my first name is Nomzamo. Faith is my second name, and Popokyana. I use both of my names because somewhere, somehow, they have a special meaning in my life and the journey that I've been going through. Nomzamo means someone that doesn't give up, always trying. And then faith is just that belief that no matter how bad things are, you just keeping your head up and then just believing that you're gonna achieve whatever you wanna achieve. So those two names, I use both of my names. I believe in God. God is my source of strength. That is faith.
Just a brief background. I'm from a very small rural town called Makwelereng Mokopane. It's just 60 kilometers outside Polokwane in Limpopo. Very, very poor community. I grew up, I was raised sixth of 7 children, and from a mother who worked as a domestic worker.
I'm from Cape Town, born and bred in Cape Town. I'm a firstborn. I have 2 brothers that I grew up with, but they are my aunt's sons. I was raised by my grandmother and my aunt, and in a town which is known to be notorious, Gugulethu in Cape Town. Yes, and I had the best childhood that a girl can have.
We lived off a 500 Rand salary, monthly salary. I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to be successful. It was very rough. We spent a lot of nights without food. You know, it was bad. It was really, really bad. And for me, that was my driver. A lot of people ask me why did I want to be successful? Why did I want to be a CA? And simply my answer is always that I was tired of being poor. I wanted to pursue a career where I can be able to put food on my family's table, because that was a struggle. I wanted to be in a career and I wanted to make so much money that everyone in my house had a bed to sleep on.
And then I studied in Gugulethu, in Fezeka High School, and then from there onwards, I went to the University of Stellenbosch.
I went to the University of Limpopo, one of the poorest universities, very, and we didn't have lectures on our CA stream, which meant that we had to figure everything out for ourselves. A lot of people just look at us now and like, oh, you're a CA, and then you really don't know what we went through.
It's been an amazing, hard, rocky journey. When I was in matric, and Black American came to our school, and she wanted 3 performers in accounting, 3 students that were performing well in accounting, and then she organized a bursary for us to actually go and study towards becoming a CA. So what happened was there was just one little detail that she left mentioning, that it has to be in Stellenbosch University. At the time, I knew that somehow it was Afrikaans, but I just didn't realize how Afrikaans it was. Anyways, so first year came, after matric, first year came, and I realized that it was in Afrikaans. The actual course was in Afrikaans. I've never done Afrikaans. I didn't do Afrikaans in high school. I chose economics instead of Afrikaans for obvious reasons. But then I had a choice to make. What was it? Either gonna be I stay at home, or I go and try it out and see how it works. So I decided to go try it out and see how it works, because it was a full bursary, accommodation, books, tuition, everything. The only thing that I actually needed to do was to just study and pass. It was hard. There were days where I'll go attend class and I don't even get what the lecturer is saying. The material was in Afrikaans. So I asked around, and then I found this lady to translate my notes for me in English. Luckily, the textbooks, they were in English. But somewhere during my first year, as you can imagine, I was considering of changing from Bachelor of Accounting to something that was offered in English. But somewhere during the year, I realized that it wasn't yes, the language was a problem, but I made African-speaking people, I met African-speaking people, and we were friends, and they were also struggling to pass the course. So I decided that, okay, the language barrier, let's put it aside. Let me just deal with the difficulty of the course and see how much, if I put in the effort, will I get the result that I want. And I remember going home during after the first semester, and I told my mom, I don't want to go back. And then she just told me, it's fine, just go back, give it your all, and then at the end of the first year, if you still want to continue doing Bachelor of Accounting, then you do, but if you don't, then you know that at least you've tried it out for the first year. So I did. The end of the year came, and I passed everything. So I decided the day onwards that, okay, I'm not changing. I'm going to carry it through. It's going to be hard, but I've proven that I can do it.
I was blessed that my classmates were also very good team players. We got together, and because we didn't have lectures, we always sat together, and we always figured things out. We always had study groups way into the early hours of the mornings. We figured everything out for ourselves. We worked hard. We worked in teams. And I think to date, we actually still hold the record of the most graduates that came out of that university in that year. The class of 2005 actually had the most graduates that went into CTA. And I'm saying this because in your journey to becoming a CA, you really do need each and every person that's there to hold your hand. You really need your colleagues to be there with you. You really need their support. You need your manager and your assistant manager's support in both at work and also to help you with your studies if possible. Which is something that they would be doing extra. And I think to achieve that, you really need to build a very strong relationship. The whole career, it's actually it's a very, very small community.
So, but then that was the hard part, because now I needed to change my mindset. I needed to come up with a faith definition of a failure. The fact that I used to get 80%, 90% in high school, I needed to tell myself that, okay, 50% is fine. 51% is a cum. I needed to tell myself that so that I can motivate myself that. So I did that, and I developed this attitude that I'm going to prove each and every one of my lectures that think that this is not made for me, I'm going to prove them wrong. So the second year came, and it was full-blown Afrikaans. Just full-blown. But then I've developed a technique for myself to actually prepare before class, work hard before class, and actually make notes in English, be able to ask questions in class. And then I asked my lecturers, I went personally to them, that if I ask a question in class in English, I would appreciate that they can answer me in English, so that at least I get the benefit of the question that I was asking. So that's that. And after that, it was still hard, but I just worked hard. I didn't give up. I needed, it was more my self-motivation that I wanted it, because the other option was to go back home and do what? Go back home and do what? So that wasn't an option. So that was that. And then eventually, I got my Bachelor Accounting degree in Afrikaans. And what I do now, just to make sure that I got everybody knows, whenever I submit a CV, I take the Afrikaans copy, just two. That is like my signature, my footprint in there, that, okay, I did my undergrad in Afrikaans. And then CTA started. Oh, little did I know that I was about to embark on another journey, which I had no clue that it would be that challenging. That's the word, it's challenging. And then CTA started. It was hard. It was as if I did not have a degree. The amount of hardness that was in me passing CTA. And somewhere along when I was doing CTA, I felt I was putting in the effort, but the result was not there. then again, I had to, because it's been a hard journey. I had to, people around you can motivate you all they want, but if you're not sure of what you want, their motivation is just gonna go to waste. So I had to motivate myself. I had to work hard. I had to stay focused to the goal that I wanted. And then 2010, I joined the AG. And then in 2012, the AG introduced this boot camp for all CTA high performers in CTA to actually attend the boot camp. And I decided, when I heard about that, I decided that in my BU, I'm going to be the person that goes to that boot camp. So I set my goal. I was like, okay, 6 weeks of studying, I need that. And I worked hard. And at the end, I got chosen to go to the boot camp. So I went to the boot camp, which changed my life. It was more like a reassurance that I got CTA covered. I did my part. We worked hard. It was extremely hard because it was overwhelming, because they're investing so much in us, because we were only 25, investing so much in us. So we needed to pull in our weight as well to work hard. So I did that, and life throws you balls that you just don't know where they're coming from. Because during me attending the boot camp and everything, and then 2 weeks before the time, just a day before we were gonna go home, 2 weeks before that, my brother died. My younger brother died. This is 2 weeks before the exams now. Okay? And as you can imagine, I was a mess. My whole family was a mess. And I had to be the person that is gonna be planning my brother's funeral. He died on the 6th of September. The 10th of September is my birthday. What I was doing in that year, 2012, 10th of September, on my birthday, I was at Home Affairs queuing to make my brother's death certificate. This is a person, because I'm about to write CTA, and I'm experiencing all of this in like 2 weeks before the time. Anyway, so I pushed that at least the funeral can be just before I start writing the exams. And I made a decision the day before the exams. I made a decision that, you know what, I've worked hard for this. And this is the 1 year that I can feel it in me that this is the year for me. This is the year that I'm going to pass. So I pray to God that please give me strength not to think about what has been happening in the 2 weeks. Just ignore the feelings, ignore the emotions that I'm going through, and just to focus. I carried 2 things for me, that I just need to stay focused. The second thing is I must just get 50% in the required time in each and every question. That was what I went to those exams thinking. 50% required time in all the questions, and just stay focused. Don't think about anything else. It's just me and that paper. And I passed. I passed my CTA after 5 attempts of me trying to pass CTA. But in the year that there were so many things happening in my life, and I lost my best friend, I passed CTA. And it was when I decided that, okay, God is awesome. Because if I do my part, then he'll just do his rest, like the rest. Everything would just fall into places. So, and then 2013, I wrote my ITC, which is, some people know it as Board 1. And that just took me the first attempt, I passed it. First attempt, I didn't, because I'd made a decision that I have failed CTA so many times. I cannot afford to fail again. Board 1 must just come and I'll pass it. Board 2 is going to come and I will just pass it. So that has been my journey from me to where I am now, from high school to where I am now.
The more people you network with, the more people you build relationships with in this, the better your chances of becoming very successful.
My definition of success is, first of all, to identify the abilities that I have within me. Because success to me is not a destination. It is more of a journey that one travels, and in that journey, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna meet people. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna meet people that actually have the same focus as you, but some people will not. The fact that I wanna achieve a certain goal in a specific period, but then things happen and I don't, it does not necessarily mean that I'm not successful. Success to me means that I fall, but then I have the ability to get myself up and try for what I want and do everything that is humanly possible to actually achieve what I want to achieve.
If I can stand here, if I can sit here and say, I'm from a rural background and these are my circumstances, and go and talk to people and talk to youngsters and say, hey, I made it, what's your excuse, you know? A lot of them, and I challenge a lot of them, I go back to my community, I go back to my former school and I talk to them. In fact, I will be sitting on the school governing body of my former school just so we can improve it and we can improve the quality. And it's very important to me. It's very important that I become a very active citizen of the country. I become a very active citizen of my community and an active member of society. A lot of you are doing CTA for the second, third, fourth, fifth time. And when I go around and we ask people, why are you not making it? I hear a lot of excuses, you know. I hear a lot of excuses. Yeah, I'm doing it part-time. I know I didn't do it part-time, but that doesn't mean we don't understand what you go through. But if you ask, have you been dedicated, you can see that there's so many excuses. And I always say, okay, Sharp, you doing it part-time. There's been thousands of other people who did CTA part-time and now they're qualified CAs, and some of these people are BEs and SMs in our organization. So that really, you just need to make sure that it's not an excuse. It's always easy to find an excuse not to be able to make it in life. Just make sure that you don't have any. I am here and actually never had any excuses. If you hear my full life story, you'd be shocked because, you know, there were times when I really couldn't go. It was physically impossible for me to keep going, but I pushed boundaries and I pushed myself to get to where I am today. I remember I was hit by a car a week before I wrote my CTA exams, and I only had like two hours in a day if I wasn't on medication to study, and I pushed myself, and I was a struggling student, and I pushed myself and I pushed, and here I am today, and I'm very thankful for that. And there's a lot that I've learned from that as well. You know, you just need to make sure that in whatever you're doing, that you don't make excuses for not being able to achieve in life.
What motivates me is I constantly tell myself, my friends will tell you, I'm awesome. I'm awesome. I am unique. I'm special. And I think that keeps me going because I tell myself that I can do anything that I put my mind into it. If I set a goal and I want to achieve it, then I make sure I do everything that is, I put in the steps. I come up with an action plan that how am I actually gonna achieve that goal. I have in the journey that I've traveled, I've learned that you can rely on people on certain things, but the best person to rely on is yourself, first of all. And I discovered that I need to have that source of strength. Who is my source of strength? Where do I get my source of strength? And there's a specific scripture that I like in the Bible, the first book, Genesis. It says, the first few lines, Genesis 1, verse 1, in the beginning, God. That's what motivates me. In anything that I start, in any journey that I embark, I put him first. Because putting him first, then I know that, okay, we sort of like have an agreement. okay, God, put you first. I'm going to do my part. You do the rest. So that's what motivates me. I like to be an example to people that, to the young people that are looking up to me, like at home, simply because I don't come from a wealthy family. I just come from a normal family that just were making means to survive.
The other thing is also the respect that comes with being a CA. You'd be shocked. If I walk into a bank right now and I give them a proposal about a business, it's not we don't even have to debate a lot. The interest rates are very nice. Funding you can always get. You get so many opportunities. You could be a CFO, you could be a CEO, you could be working in mining, you could be working anywhere pretty much with a CA career. And I think there's a lot that you can look forward to. Yeah, just work hard at what you're doing, and I think the world's your oyster.
It means a lot of things. Actually, you start acknowledging that you have an accounting qualification that minute when you pass CTA. When you pass, there is no feeling. I've passed board one, but that feeling does not come to that feeling that I felt when I passed CTA, because doors open, you know. When you've passed CTA, it's very easy for you to pass board one. And what happened was, to me, I started ripping off the benefits of me going through what I've been through to actually get the degree and getting CTA, and people looking up to me, recognizing, making it possible for other people to actually believe that CTA is doable. And it gives the accounting qualification, it gives you options. There's too many options. You can just do anything you want. And so far, it's just fitting onto my plans, it's fitting onto my personality, it's fitting onto my character, and it's just been amazing. Because I struggled to get my degree, and I struggled to get CTA. And somewhere along the line during the CTA attempts, I decided that, okay, social life, stop, non-existent. I made a sacrifice that, okay, no social life, just up until I achieve this, because then therefore I'm gonna have a social life, and I'll actually have the money to have the social life. So that's what I decided, and it's a personal decision. It's a personal decision that I made for myself. I didn't consider any other opinions that my friends made when I made that, and it was a very tough one, because I needed to stick to it, because you'll find that there's a 21st of my friend. My other friend is getting married. The other one is having a baby shower. But it's all on a Saturday, and now on a Saturday I have a plan that I need to finish a certain question. So it's where, and then it starts happening even at home. There's certain events that are planned, but the cost and benefits, I thought about it, okay, if I go, but then later on it's gonna actually catch up with me. So you need to decide what is much more important to you. And I think communicating to my family and my friends exactly that, okay, this is what I want, this is how it's important. At this point in time, I'm choosing that the work life entailing studies, that takes preference. The social life, it's gonna come up, it's always gonna be there, but it's gonna come up at a later stage when I actually achieved what I want to achieve. That's the decision I made to balance. There wasn't much of a balance at the beginning between work and social life, but now, promise you, if I decide to go out on a Tuesday, I go out on a Tuesday, because I have the money to pay for me going out on a Tuesday. I don't have to study, because I've done that. I've gone through that chapter in my life. Now it's where work does not entail studies. Work just entails work, me going to work 8 till 5, and then that's it. Then I can actually go out with friends after work. So that's how there wasn't much of a balance, like I'm saying at the beginning, but now there is, and it's so much nice because I don't have to worry about the struggle of me making time to study.